Coming up on No Pulp, what a weekend it was of college hoops. Now that football's done, Luke, we can fully focus on basketball and the conference slate ramping up.
Yeah, and Sam, how about this freshman class in college basketball right now? There are some talented names, but we're talking about our favorites in each category.
I'm excited for that. I'm also excited for a battle between Luke Burgess and Rahill Jaiswall in the juicer. You won't want to miss any of it. No Pulp starts right now.
The best performance, I think, all year from Ohio State against Oregon in the Rose Bowl.
They just don't lose at the shoe.
She's the best player in women's college basketball in my eyes.
To stay alive, can they hook them? Touchdown!
They have the most prolific goal scorer of all time.
He will fire.
He's the guy.
I'm the guy.
Ian's the guy today.
Experience is what matters when it comes to Omaha.
Valuable.
You know the
Hold
number
on.
of
Everything for a
Hold
team.
on.
First time, how are we feeling, Jake?
I'm excited to win the juicer.
And with that, it's time for another episode of No Pulp. How could you not be fired up? He's Luke Burgess. I'm Sam Reis. We welcome you into our CitrusTV studio. And Luke, I don't know about you, but Saturday I was sitting on the couch all day watching college hoops. It was a blast.
Unfortunately, I wasn't because I had other obligations. Also
Sure.
college basketball related, though, so
There we go.
equally as important. And yes, it was a very good Saturday. I got to catch up later, though.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And let's get to some of those big games over the weekend. We start with one that I did tune in for and was fascinated by. That was Illinois taking on Purdue. This game was at the home of the Boilermakers, but the Fighting Illini come in, get the job done, an 88-82 victory, and Keaton Wagler, the freshman, stole all of the headlines. 46 points is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch this guy play, how could you just not be incredibly impressed? Because, I mean, the first thing that jumps off the page is that he shoots the heck out of the three. They made 18 for the game, and he made 9 of them, half of the three-pointers. And you'll watch most of these, he's like way beyond the arc. These are NBA threes. They may as well put an extra line out there for him just for shooting practice.
It's
crazy. I mean, look at that. From the edge of the logo, and that was like most of the shots that he took in the first half. And then Purdue adjusted its defense. By the way, Purdue, a very good team, too.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from their skill set
But they've been
in
slumping.
this game just because of how well Illinois shot the ball. But in the second half, they adjusted a little bit, locked down the paint, and Wagler can slash, too. I mean, he had a couple of really nice buckets like this one. Look at that. Double team inside. He's a great player.
I mean, these stats are unbelievable because Braden Smith on the other side, who, if you tuned into No Pulp back in the fall, you would know I'm a fan of him. He had a great game, but it was overshadowed by what Wagler did. Despite a double-double from Smith, Wagler scored the first 14 points for Illinois. That's when you knew it was going to be that type of day. 52% of the team's points came from him, and the dude is in his first year of college basketball. To do
His
that,
only year of college basketball.
yes, correct.
Safe to say.
Right, and to do that at Purdue, that's not normal by any means. And what was fascinating to me is that Purdue actually shot the ball nearly 10% better than Illinois, but the Fighting Illini ended up knocking down 18 threes, half of which came from Wagler. I am a little bit concerned right now for Purdue. That's back-to-back losses against both UCLA and a very good Illinois team.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a little bit concerning, but like I said before, I think you still got to have faith in Purdue. I mean, the only other loss they have this season was when they got blown out by Iowa State, who have kind of they've cooled off a little bit, not quite as hot as they were at one point in the season, but the Big Ten is such a good conference, top to bottom. My goodness, I mean, look at those teams. And Nebraska on top. Who thought that was possible? Michigan, I think, still the team to beat overall in the conference. And those two teams actually have a matchup on the horizon in the near future as well. So something to watch for. There's a lot of exciting basketball in the Midwest, West Coast, which is, of course, now included as well.
It's true.
We've got Big 12 basketball, though, which is maybe the best conference in all of college basketball. Houston and Texas Tech meeting in Lubbock. Texas Tech takes home the win 90-86. Another great game. Kingston Fleming, Sam, is an ultra
Speaking of
impressive freshman. Yeah, I mean, he's another one. Another guy who goes and puts up 40 in a game where his team ends up losing. And Houston, another very good team. But I want to talk about Texas Tech and how impressive they've been throughout the course of the season, because you look at their losses, and they really have no bad losses all year long. And they're a 4-loss team. They might be the best 4-loss team in the country. Because they have really only lost 2 quality opponents.
Right. This was a game in which it was like an NBA game in the first half. Texas Tech somehow dropped 55 first half points. Now, the defense ramped up slightly in the second half and down that stretch, but this was a high-scoring shootout and an intriguing game for me because this was actually their second meeting already. Yep. They had met back on January 6th just a few weeks ago, and that was a much more low-scoring game at Houston, in which the Cougars took it 69-65. So you absolutely have to give a ton of credit to Texas Tech for getting revenge.
Twice.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to beat a team twice. That's true. But I still would have taken Houston in this game. But JT Toppin, 31 points, 12 rebounds. The guy consistently puts up this kind of stat line. And not only that, they end an 11-game winning streak for Houston that dated all the way back to Vegas against Tennessee. We were in attendance for that game.
That is very true. I think the difference in this game was the fact that Texas Tech had 3 guys who could score the basketball at a high level, because Kingston Flemings took 10 more shots than anyone else on Houston's team. So he was really the entirety of the offense, and when they kind of started to shut him down a little bit, shut him down is generous, but they figured out a way to limit his scoring more. That was really the difference in this one, in a conference that is incredibly close right now, up and down, with Arizona at the top, a team that prides itself on its defense on the other hand of things. They're going to be challenged tonight, actually, going up against BYU.
Yeah.
There is a lot.
That's happening as we're talking.
There is a lot to look forward to in this conference down the stretch, and a lot of really, really good teams that maybe don't get as much credit as they deserve. The Big 12, I think, on a week-to-week basis, is producing some of the most exciting basketball in the country right now.
I think it's the best conference in college basketball, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. No easy matchups in the Big 12. The ACC, definitely better than last season, and we had a big matchup between North Carolina and Virginia. Top 25 battle. The Tar Heels, unexpectedly, in my opinion, go in there and get the win 85-80. UNC desperately needed this win, Luke, and they did it in come-from-behind fashion.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Wilson's a huge part of the reason why, but UNC has just completely defied expectations this year. I mean, Hubert Davis at the beginning of the season, probably the hottest seat in the ACC. I would say that mantle is now shifted to Adrian Autry with Syracuse, and they're not playing too well. But UNC, on the other hand, has really had a heck of a season. He's a huge part of the reason why. You see the number at the top, currently tied for the most 20-point games by a UNC freshman. He's got 14. He had 20 again in this game. And this was not an incredibly high-scoring game for a lot of it. Offense kind of picked up as the game went along. But he's such an efficient shooter. 8 of 12 in this game. He just doesn't take bad shots. Really decisive for being so young. He kind of plays like a veteran, and you see at the bottom of your screen, top 5 pick in the NBA draft. There's a reason for that. That's exactly why.
And I should also mention, UVA is not an easy place to go into and win. In fact, the Cavaliers had an 11-game home winning streak, and UNC came out a bit sluggish in this game. This was a 16-point deficit the Tar Heels went up against. Now, someone that deserves a ton of credit in addition to Caleb Wilson, Jaren Stevenson. A massive spark off the bench in the second half. In fact, he scored all 17 of his points in the final 20 minutes of this game. 16 minutes off the bench, and he really lit the spark that UNC needed to pull off this comeback. They were also very protective of the ball, only turned it over 4 times.
Yeah, the thing for me about UNC is that I don't think they can be taken seriously in the grand scheme of the country until they stop losing games to teams like Cal, like Stanford. Cal's had an all-right season, but until you can beat those teams on a consistent basis, you go on the road there, that's not a tough place to play.
No.
You need to win those games if they're going to be taken seriously as any type of contender beyond the ACC.
It's a fair point. That was just an awful West Coast trip for UNC, but they might be back after that win against Virginia. That was a statement from the Tar Heels, though, and they might be a tournament team still. Time for a break here on No Pulp, but make sure you stick around because coming up next, you won't want to miss it. It's Luke Burgess versus Rahill Jaiswall in the second juicer of the semester. It's going to be fun. We're back here on No Pulp, and as I promised, it's time for the juicer. Gents, this should be fun. Luke Burgess against Rahill Jaiswall. They're friendly right now, maybe not in a minute or two. How you guys feeling?
I feel good. I'm excited to be back. I think I was eliminated pretty early in the last semester, so let's hope that doesn't happen this go around.
I'm fired up. I had to grow out the facial hair a little bit to look a little
it.
more scary today. But
Yeah, let's get right into it and see who takes home the victory. All right, first question worth a point. We're going to you first, Rahill. Which team in college basketball has their stock dropped the most since the calendar has flipped to the new year?
yeah, there's a lot of different teams you can go with here. You guys mentioned a couple like Iowa State, but the team to me is Vanderbilt. What has happened to the Commodores, ladies and gentlemen? Let's flash back to 2 weeks ago. This team was 16-0 and they were in the top 10. They were number 10, and people were asking a legit question. Can they win the national championship? Since then, a loss to an unranked Texas team. You lost a tough game against Florida, but you gave up 98 points, which was a season high, and then you get walloped by Arkansas. Shout out our former sports director, Nick Luttrow. He would love that. But Arkansas was a much lower seed. Yeah, you picked up an easy win against Mississippi State, but now they've dropped to 18 in the rankings. You start 16-0 and you lose 3 straight games in pretty somewhat pathetic fashion. What's going on with Vanderbilt?
Yeah, not good. But the thing about Vanderbilt is that the expectation going into the season was not that high. For Tennessee, it absolutely was. You think about what happened last year with Tennessee early in the season in December. They were the #1 ranked team in the net, and now Rick Barnes has brought in one of the top freshmen in the country in Nate Amon, and this team can't really get it done. They're losers of 3 of their last 6. Now, yes, they did beat Alabama over the weekend. That's a good win. They're a very talented team. I don't think that there's any question about that. And that is exactly why their stock has fallen so far, because they've gone from top 15 to unranked since the start of January. They are receiving votes, but, they go from 1 week winning a big game to the next week losing to a team, I should say, like Florida or Kentucky, who have been incredibly inefficient and inconsistent all season long. So I just don't know if you can trust the consistency of the Volunteers right now.
All right, both fair points, both SEC selections, but Tennessee's stock was already down before then. They lost to Syracuse. Vanderbilt was undefeated going into the new year, and then those 3 straight losses completely plummeted their stock. So I have to give this first point to Rahill. So a 1-0 lead for Rahill, but still time to bounce back for Luke. Question 2. Which college basketball coach is most on the hot seat? We'll again start with you, Rahill.
Yeah, you guys were talking about a couple ACC coaches, Adrian Autry, all of us being here at Syracuse University. But there's one coach in particular who's been even worse, and that's Earl Grant at Boston College. Now, I will give him credit. He does wear a suit for the games. It looks lovely, and it gives you a good old-fashioned feeling. But this BC team is horrible. You can speak any language you want. Horrible, terrible. They're absolutely pathetic. Ever since Earl Grant has been there, in the 4 years, they have finished bottom 4 in the ACC every single year. Not to mention last year, they missed the ACC tournament. How many teams missed the ACC tournament? Just 2. They were absolutely putrid. And this is a BC team that has some talent. Donald Hand Jr. is a great scorer. So is Fred Payne. Yes, they beat Syracuse, but Syracuse stinks. So overall, I don't know what's going on with Boston College. They need to make a change, and Earl Grant's seat is extremely hot, but it's going under the radar because of some of the other ACC coaches.
All right, let's
there's absolutely no passion for athletics outside of hockey at Boston College. I think our Boston native friend Sam would agree with me.
Maybe women's
A place
lacrosse.
where there's maybe as much passion as anywhere in the country is LSU. And the beginning of this year, Verge Osbury, the athletic director, said, if there is not competition in the SEC to a higher level this season, then the situation needs to be reevaluated for Matt McMahon, the coach of LSU, and they're 1-6 in conference play. Their only win is against Mizzou, and it was a close one. They lost by almost 20 points to Florida. To their credit, they kept it to single digits with Arkansas, but they haven't picked up a second win, and the expectation was to be competitive.
They're not very good. They've never been very good in the last couple of years.
They have not been good at basketball. The expectation, though, is that they are this year. He's now in the multi-year deal, trickling towards the end, and it seems like he might be trickling toward the end of his coaching career with the Tigers. It is not going well in Tiger Town.
No, it's not. Not going well either place. For me, a little less pressure, though, on Earl Grant.
Fair enough.
Because not enough people care about BC. When the AD of LSU says you have to make the tournament or else you're pretty much going to get fired, that's not going to happen for this LSU team who continues to struggle. Matt McMahon, the better choice there, in my opinion, 2 points to Luke. So 2-1, Luke leads. This is to decide it with question 3, and we'll go to Luke first this time. The most improved men's player from a year ago to now.
Yeah, I love Joshua Jefferson at Iowa State. Now, he's in his second year with the Cyclones, and Sam, you know how good Iowa State has been this year, really taking a jump forward as a team in general. But what McMahon has done, or rather what Jefferson has done, has been incredible. 2 years ago, he was averaging 10 points a game at St. Mary's. Last year, he was a starter, but he was averaging around 12. Now he's averaging 20 points a game. He started every single game. He averages 8 rebounds and 5 assists per game. He has multiple triple-doubles this season. I mean, the guy has taken a huge leap forward from being a guy who had 2 or 3 assists a game to now 5 a game. And he grabs an insane number of rebounds, and he has been a huge piece of what's led Iowa State to such a successful season. I mean, like I said, a couple of years ago, he was playing at St. Mary's. Yes, very good program, but a mid-major program. Now he's leading one of the best teams in the Big 12.
Let's let Rahill have his choice.
Thank you. That was a good pick, Luke. But I'm going to go with Cameron Carr out of Baylor. Now, this was a guy who came into Tennessee, really, with a decent amount of expectations, but his first 2 years, his freshman year, didn't really play that much, had freshman year minutes, averaged just over 1 point a game. Last year got hurt, averaged about only 4 points a game. Look at that dunk there, skying to the rim. He's now averaging over 20 at Baylor, leading the Bears in scoring. And oh, by the way, he does it on both ends of the floor, leading them in blocks as well. Look at this jam right there. That tells you everything you need to know about him. Cameron Carr is a big-time scorer. Oh, by the way, last 4 games, he scored 20-plus points 3 times, and that it's including against the top 15 St. John's team.
Yep. All right. I respect both selections. Cameron Carr, for me, though, is the most improved men's player from a year ago. The fact that Cameron Carr only played 4 games last year, never was a starter at Tennessee, had to come back from injury, and is now the leading scorer for Baylor. That's legit more improvement, in my opinion, than Jefferson. But good game, everybody. Rahill Jaiswall, Juicer champion. A great battle here. And coming up next on No Pulp, Luke and I, we're going to build our perfect freshman men's basketball player. Should be a good time. Stick around.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
No Pulp rolling on from our CitrusTV studio. Sam Reis and Luke Burgess with you. We are creating our perfect freshman college basketball player, and there is a lot of options to choose from because there are a lot of good freshmen in college basketball this year. One of the better freshman classes I can remember watching, certainly in my young adult life.
It's unbelievable.
Sam, we are starting with you. We're talking about scoring. Yeah. Probably the number one thing that you want in any really good player. Right. Who are you going with?
I'm going with Keaton Wagler of Illinois. Maybe some recency bias, but not really. I mean, he leads the Fighting Illini with nearly 18 points per game, dropped 45 over the weekend, which is just absurd. And this is also someone who just consistently shoots the ball well. From three-point range, which is his specialty, 44%. That's pretty darn good.
He shoots it like an NBA player.
He does, but also when he drives contact going to the lane, he's 83% at the free throw line. So all around, there isn't really a flaw when it comes to this guy's ability to shoot the ball effectively. Sorry, I did him 1 point short, 46 points over the weekend at Purdue. Again, 9 of those were threes. Like, this guy's an elite three-point shooter, great at the charity stripe.
101% true shooting percentage.
I mean, I don't even really know what that means, but that sounds amazing. Over 100%. I mean, are you kidding me? Give me Wagler for my score.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What else we got?
Yeah, let's now move around to defense. Defensive side of the ball, which freshman are you taking?
All right, you might not know too much about this guy, but he plays for Arizona State. Masamba Diop. 7'1", 230 pounds. This guy's an elite rim protector. You see we've got his arm on there and the shield to signify some defense. He's averaging a couple blocks a game and a steal. But the thing I like the most about this guy, first of all, he can turn defense into offense. He is great at generating steals and scoring on the other end because he's fast for a guy who is 7'1", 230. The other thing about him is he's playing like 30 minutes a night. So for a guy that big, a lot of the times you're going to see the minutes reduced a little bit. No, he's starting every game. He's durable as a defender. And yeah, he is also playing every single night for significant minutes. You see the numbers there. Some of the numbers that he has, his rebounds pretty good as well. But he's made a huge impact. Arizona State, not that good of a basketball team, unfortunately. They don't have a lot of scoring. But he is a great piece, and I think on a good team, he would be a huge defensive asset.
It's a good shout. 7'1", my goodness. He'd be hitting his head on the roof here.
I think he would.
All right, where are we going next?
We are talking about build.
Okay.
Sam, what do you got?
Yeah, build athleticism. Give me Darren Peterson. Now, I get it. He hasn't been healthy consistently throughout the season, which is really a shame. We were really looking forward to seeing him in Vegas, which didn't happen. There we go. We got the shorts. We got the shoes for
lower
Peterson.
Half,
yeah, lower half, because he's so explosive with that first step. Every time I watch him, I'm amazed at just how athletic this guy is. A 6'6" guard at 205, but his mobility is great. He's so good at beating you, off the dribble. It's that first step and explosiveness. He has a knack for drawing contact or making plays close to the rim. He can also hit shots from outside if he needs to, but that's not primarily what Kansas wants him to do. Be that presence in the lane, go on the fast break and finish. Darren Peterson is a freak of an athlete. I think if he was consistently healthy this season, you could argue he's the best freshman of this very good class.
Right, he's missed some games, which is unfortunate at the beginning of the year. Remember, at one point, he was the consensus #1 overall pick.
Yeah, he was.
That has maybe shifted a little bit.
Sure, still the type of build I want. For my freshman, let's go to Clutch Gene to wrap things up. Who gets your Clutch Gene?
Yeah, this one, it can be a little bit hard. How do you measure clutchness? But we're going with Caleb Wilson. We talked about his efficiency and shot making earlier on in the show. That is the reason that I go to him. He hit a huge shot, by the way, at the end of that Virginia game to give UNC a sizable lead down the stretch, a multi-score lead. And he's just such a heady, smart basketball player. That's really the thing that makes him stand out to me the most, is that he doesn't take a lot of bad shots, and he doesn't turn the ball over a lot either. Those are the type of things that you want in a guy who's clutch, who you want to have the ball towards the end of the game in big-time situations. And some of the body control that he has, too, on some of these shots that you're seeing right now, really impressive. The way that he drives and slides to the cup. He's the guy that I want, and this is our finalized player. Quite the creation. You saw freshman Frankenstein. It looks exactly like that.
This is a great player right here.
We've got a crazy collaboration of colors with blue, red, orange, the yellow arm sleeve for my guy Joff.
Type of colors I would have worn freshman year.
Yes, that's true.
I have better style now, right?
You absolutely do.
Thank you.
I'm not sure that this is exactly what you'd want for style points, but certainly for playing points on the court. We still have a little bit more to come on No Pulp. When we come back, we will finish things up with our final words, our plays of the week. It's going to be exciting. You don't want to go anywhere.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to No Pulp here in our CitrusTV studio. Alongside Luke Burgess, I'm Sam Reis, and Luke, you know what I love? A great play, and it's time for our plays of the week. So I'll go first here because we're going to take it down to Dallas and ACC action. SMU's Jaron Pierre, he posterized his own teammate. I mean, how awesome is that? This is unbelievable. And this was to basically put the game on ice, too. This was a close game for a while against Florida State. Here's a great look at it. Oh, watch out. Jaron Pierre, who, by the way, had 27 points with the exclamation point. It's not every day you see a guy dunk on his own teammate. That's a great play of the week selection, right?
And yeah, I do like it. Everyone on the team is happy about that, except for the guy who got dunked on. My play of the week, everybody is happy. I guarantee that. Mizzou this weekend against Oklahoma. What an impressive moment. At the end of regulation, from half court to send it to OT, a buzzer beater. Oh my goodness. Well, buzzer beaters happen every single week, right? That's not that exciting. What happened in overtime was what was exciting. Tie game. How about another one? To win it by 1 point. Mizzou down 2. They only needed 2 to tie. They say, hey, we don't have time to get there. We may as well just take the buzzer beater anyway. Mizzou hits 2 buzzer beaters in 1 game to win in overtime against Oklahoma.
All right, time for our final word, and we'll start off with mine. I am going to the collegiate basketball scene where it's getting out of hand. If you were watching the Tennessee versus Alabama game like myself on Saturday night, you saw 23-year-old Charles Bediako play for the Crimson Tide in what was his first appearance in a college basketball game in 3 years. Yeah, you heard me right. After playing for Alabama from 2021 to 23, Bediako declared for the NBA draft and has signed 3 different NBA contracts over the past couple of years. Just last weekend, he was playing in a G League game, but now he's allowed to play college basketball again? It's ridiculous, and several coaches, including John Calipari, have voiced their frustrations.
Does anybody care what this is doing for 17 and 18-year-old American kids? Do you know what this opportunity has done for them and their families? There aren't going to be any high school kids. Who, other than dumb people like me, are going to recruit high school kids?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really argue with that. Bediako is just the latest example of college basketball becoming more and more of a professional league, and that's a disgrace and goes against everything that college athletics are about. If a pro career doesn't pan out, well, tough luck. There should be no opportunity for players like him to get a second try playing college basketball.
I think it's pretty hard to disagree with that, Sam. If we go back to early October, the preseason expectations for Nebraska men's basketball were not only low, the Big Ten preseason media poll had them picked to finish in the bottom 5 in the conference and just barely squeak into the conference tournament. Fast forward to today, and they are the only undefeated team left in the very same Big Ten they were expected to be dominated in. Price Sanford has emerged as one of the better scorers in the league after he only started 2 games a season ago with Iowa. But the thing that makes this team special is its defense. The Huskers have only allowed more than 70 points 1 time in conference play. They have taken down multiple top 15 opponents, and they've been incredible this season. Credit to Nebraska.
Yeah, that's a Nebraska team that, if I'm not mistaken, has never won an NCAA tournament game. They're bound to change that this season for sure. All right, we've had so much fun. That's all the time we have on No Pulp.
So much good college basketball. It's good stuff.
Absolutely. Enjoy it. For Luke Burgess, I'm Sam Reis saying so long.